Hello, DeShaun. This is your poetry conference. What you will see on the video is me scrolling through your poems, your midterm prompts, your exercise 4, which I put all into one document. So hopefully you've gotten the link to that and you can go ahead and open that up. It's probably a little easier to read if you look at the actual document than looking at this video, just because of the scale. Let me just make sure I am in suggesting mode. I think I've made all the notes that I need to make, but I just might be doing that. One thing I want to strongly recommend, you should really give yourself time to proofread and revise your process essay, which is due Monday. That's going to be talking about the process of writing all of the pieces. And I'm assuming that everyone is welcome to use the material that you wrote for the midterm prompts. But there's a lot of typos and just little errors that I think that you probably would catch if you proofread it. I've given you a couple of links, like it's not it's, the difference between it's without and with an apostrophe, and also the punctuation guide. This is going to be very important for your prose narrative. Right here, if you see the period should go before the closing quotation mark. This is how we do it in US English. I believe in UK English and perhaps other Englishes, they might do it a little differently, but this is what you need to do. And again, there's an article to look at for that. Quotation marks and adjacent punctuation, and you can see how that's done. Okay, great. So just aside from that, in terms of the content, I'm glad that the feedback was helpful. And I think sometimes, people might be hesitant to say something that isn't just totally praise or whatever. But it looks like everyone is helping each other in the groups make their work the best, which is awesome. And then the next stage is for me to do that with you as well. Let's talk about the blank verse exercise in case you would like to revise it. You don't have to, submit a new attempt in Unit 4. But I want to talk to everybody about this because, especially if it's the first time you're doing this kind of writing, it's really impossible for me to teach it without talking to people. So I definitely am hearing iambic rhythm in some of these lines. It's not consistently in every line, so that's why I want to read it as I'm hearing it. And remember that the rhythm, ba-ba, 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 you might have 10 syllables, but they might not flow in that kind of way. And it basically has to sound like it's hard. You have to kind of train your ear a little bit to hear the stresses, but once you do, I think you get it. It has to be the way the normal pronunciation of the words would be. Okay. I stare into nothing, my mind for once. So you can see that the only one that doesn't work there is nothing, which is trochaic. Trochaic is bom, bom. And so you could say I stare into the void. That's something like that, or a hole. I'm just kind of thinking of something else. I stare into a blank, a blur. There's a lot of things like that you could use to substitute for that. Completely blank. I never thought this would. That's perfect. Happen to me, to my family, not. See how that sounds really awkward? So what's happening is you're starting out trochaic. So it's happened to me, to my family, not. So it's like a little bit off. Like, again, you have the right number of syllables, but it's not quite working. My perfect family, everything is. Usually we say everything, not everything, right? So that one doesn't sound quite right to me. Collapsing around me. So again, this one is trochaic. Sorry, it's not trochaic, but collapsing. And then you need a stressed syllable after that. Collapse. You could say everything collapses round me. My whole world ends. Like these two, I'm hearing both of them as stressed. I'm at my mom's house, and a guy is mowing the lawn and cutting the bushes right outside the window just perfect timing as I'm recording this. So sorry. In that moment, again, so I pronounce this moment. That's a trochaic word. I want to cry, but no, those are fine. Tears come. I want to scream, but I struggle. So do you see, sometimes you have these words, when you have words with more than one syllable, automatically one syllable is going to be stressed, another one's going to be unstressed, and there's a typical way that we pronounce these words. And so you can't, it's really hard to work against that. Just to breathe, da, da, da. I'm hearing that like stress, unstressed, stressed, in and out as if, that will. So I'm just going to, for this line, I'm going to put some bolds so you can see that's where I'm hearing the stress. Okay. Make this pain, again, you're sort of starting, go away, and my heart, whoops, sorry. I'm hearing my heart stop, all as stressed. And then hurting, definitely trochaic, bump, bump. It doesn't, the pain never stops. Yeah. So hopefully that helps you hear it a little bit. If you want to revise, you know, I think once you get the concept, you can play around with the way the words are placed in the line. And now that you know which syllables really are naturally stressed, I think that might help you do that. Revision is completely optional for that. For both of your portfolio poems, which will be revised for the portfolio, I'm going to recommend that you consider trying some of these forms that I've listed on the end. And there's one in, maybe one in particular that I'm talking about, especially for poem number 1. I think any of these forms would be good. I mean, again, like with a villanelle, there's sort of a degree of difficulty because you have to have it in iambic pentameter. A sestina is cool because you just have to pick 6 words and kind of put it in the lines. But I think you should check out these forms. A pantoum is really good because you don't have to worry about rhyme or other meters or anything like that. You just have to work on repeating the lines. So I think that this might be good. Sorry, let me go back to, I'm scrolling all around. Oh yeah, pantoum, the blues, or the hustle. The hustle repeats like one word sound at the end of the lines. Because you have repetition already. This is the end, this is the beginning. You've sort of created your own, and you have one push, one pull, one leg, 2 legs. I'd really like to see you try using one of these other received forms. You've created your own form, which I think is really, really interesting. And you've got a lot of really powerful concrete language. But I'd like to see what happens if you try using one of these other forms and see what happens. And then in yellow, what a timely current affairs kind of poem. I mean, definitely people may not know the term yellow journalism. You know, it was an old fashioned term and now it's unfortunately coming back. But I think this poem has, you know, almost like a philosophy kind of thing going on. And you want to watch out for overuse of abstraction and try to push it towards concrete language. And so these lines in the first stanza that I was pointing out, exchange of pain, defamation, death. Instead, you know, some specific images or specific examples might be helpful. And then free press as it stands firm on the heads of our regime. Again, a very bold statement, but you know, facts are green, lies are red. This is very interesting, this idea of stop and go, and the press is yellow and consumers colorblind. I mean, I think that's very witty. So anyway, I said I would like to see you tapping into the power of concrete language, either literal or metaphorical, in the next version of this poem. It might be interesting to include some quotations from yellow journalism to give the flavor of what you're talking about. And I really like the way that you're playing with those colors. And so the first stanza might have more of that kind of playfulness and concrete language. Alrighty, that's all I got. Let me know if you have questions, and wishing you all the best for the rest of your summer. Take care.